From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your routine Monday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. And this briefing covers the period today through Sunday through the 8th of August. Let's take a look at the current conditions, as I like to do. And this is a very insightful map because there's some really some neat features here I want to point out. And the first thing I'd like to point out is the difference in temperatures. You see how there's 70s, and these are current temperatures, versus these mid and upper 80s. So clearly you could see there's a cold front that extends like so, okay, with colder air back behind it and warmer air or hot air, I'll just say W for warm, ahead of it, right? That's pretty typical cold front. And this cold front is gradually continuing to move to the southeast. Now, not unusual though, along and ahead of fronts to see showers and storms. And here's one big area of showers and storms. And then as I zoom in here, you'll see a few specks of rain along the actual front, okay? And these rain showers will too move more to the east and southeast. But the thing I'm concerned about over the next few days is this massive plume of moisture here that's poised to bring us some increased rain chances if this boundary moves back to the west. And indeed, it will move back to the west. And the reason is there's an area of low pressure, a trough, if you will, to the west. And as that system moves to the east, what it will do is the flow around it will cause that boundary to move back inland again. And that's going to put this plume of moisture and cloudiness over and stalled across eastern North Carolina, maybe as far west as the I-95 corridor. There's some models that show, decent rain chances all the way back to the Triad. But it looks more certain that if you are east of I-95, you're in for a pretty wet week, because what happens is once this boundary sets up, once this plume of moisture sets up over here, it ain't going anywhere. It's just staying put for at least a few days. All right. So anyway, that's what's going on here. Current conditions. And as I go to the slides, these slides here will bear this out in just a minute. But let me pause for one moment here to get this out of the way, because obviously this time of year, as we're heading into we're in August, people start asking, well, what about the tropics? So I wanted to kind of just get this out of the way before we show you the other maps. And this graphic here shows that there are no new tropical cyclones during the next 5 days. Well, that's good, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have any rain. So here's that cold front, or what will become a stationary front along the North Carolina and South Carolina coasts today. And the fact that that plume of moisture in the front is mainly already to our east, most of the rain today will be confined well east of I-95, or confined even closer to the coast, I should say. But then notice in that midweek panel, look how the boundary moves ever so slightly westward. And I know it kind of is somewhat hard to see, but here's the boundary. I'm just going to highlight it with this yellow highlighter. That's the boundary I'm talking about. Here it is today, becoming stationary. Okay, notice how, late week, where's it at? Same place. Okay, and by the weekend, it mostly will dissipate, but we're still going to be in an area, a pattern that will be favorable for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Why? Because there's a big high pressure, Bermuda high, with southerly flow around it, which will keep moisture in place across the Carolinas. Okay, so as you kind of step back and take a look at these graphics, that's the one feature that doesn't really change. It's this stationary front. By the way, that front blew through our area yesterday and caused all the severe storms and heavy rain that some spots got. Okay, now, where does it go? It doesn't really go anywhere. So right now it looks like, that front will waver back and forth all week long. This will keep rain chances in our forecast right through the week, with Tuesday and Thursday. Right now, it looks like Tuesday and Thursday will be the wettest of the next 5 days. And the best rain chances and highest rainfall amounts are expected east of the triangle. But, should that boundary waver a little bit further west than we're currently expecting, the triad could get into that too. So, but right now, odds favor along and east of 95, or mainly east of 95, getting the heaviest rain. And that is conveyed in my next slide, which shows rainfall amounts. So you'll see today, very little, if any, across central North Carolina. But look at those higher amounts, that swath of the reds and the pinks there along, basically east of I-95 Tuesday. So, if you're really even back to the triad, we're looking at an inch of rain. So, everybody is going to get in on this rain. Some places, particularly east of I-95, are going to get in on it more than others. All right. More east, lesser west. And look how there's very little change. Wednesday, little change Thursday and Friday. And then finally that boundary begins to dissipate, break up, but we're still there's still remnants of it out there. And we're still, experiencing a moist southerly flow, which will set the stage for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Maybe not as many on Saturday and Sunday, but still there'll be a few around. So all in all, we're looking for a wet couple days once we get past today. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be pretty wet. Again, highest rainfall amounts east of I-95. Saturday and Sunday, not as much, but still a few scattered showers and storms around. But look at the 7-day totals. That's pretty impressive because, that ranges anywhere from 1.5 inches of rain west, like Triad down toward Wadesboro, to up to 5 inches across eastern portions of central North Carolina. And look, there's even a little bullseye area right along the Crystal Coast showing as much as 10 inches of rain. So anyway, if this indeed does happen, okay, if this happens, then clearly we're going to need to keep an eye on area rivers, especially later this week. It takes longer for the rivers to respond, so we'll be dealing with this. If these numbers come to pass, we'll be looking at rises in the rivers, and we will bring you updates to these slides as we head through the week, as we get a little better sense for how the rivers are going to respond. But I don't have any hydrographs in there right now because the models are still trying to kind of wrap their heads, so to speak, around how this rain will affect the rivers. Okay, and it's good that it's closer to the coast because, there's not as much of a contribution from the upstream parts of the basin. So anyway, we'll keep you updated as we head through the week about the rivers. But I can tell you in the near term, this is the slide I really wanted to kind of show you. This is the excessive rainfall outlook, which highlights areas that could have a chance for flash flooding. And, it seems pretty obvious that if you're going to get that kind of rain in a short period of time with training, well, clearly flash flooding might be possible or will be possible. So again, the strongest signal is mainly east of I-95, where there could be a higher risk for flash flooding. So, and that's typically with these drawn out rain events, what happens. As it's happening, you have the risk for flash flooding. And then towards the latter part of the event, that's when you get the rivers responding. So in the immediate term, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with flash flooding. But in the latter half of the week, maybe we'll be looking at some rises on rivers. Again, I don't know how high the water will get on the river. It just depends on how much rain ends up falling. Okay, so let me back up here because this is a severe thunderstorm potential. And what this is saying is that thunderstorms will be possible with this week's rain episodes. However, right now we're not expecting any organized severe weather threats. So that's good. This is mainly just a wet event with flooding being the main concern. Okay. All right, so the 8 to 14 day look, looking into the crystal ball for the following week would suggest above normal temperatures and at or above normal rainfall. So we'll see how that, let's get through this week first before we, start looking at that next week. So anyway, that kind of wraps things up for this briefing. I know that was a lot to digest there. And I apologize again for starting a little late this morning and the little snafu with the link. The links are working. They'll continue to work for Thursday's briefing and any other briefings that we do. And again, we'll be sending out updated slides throughout the week just to keep everybody informed of, how much rain, the numbers on the rain, where we expect the greatest risk for flash flooding and later this week if we expect any river flooding. Okay. So anyway, that's the way things are shaping up. Again, the best chances and the highest rainfall amounts will be east of the Triangle region. But again, we don't want to leave out the Triad down to Wadesboro because, again, if that boundary shifts a little bit further west, so too will the heavier rain. All right. So I think we pretty much conveyed everything as it relates to this week's weather here. Enjoy today's, sunny weather. Because we may not see the sun for a little while here. And I will point out one last thing before we go to questions. And if there is a little good piece of news, and that is this rain and the cloud cover will keep temperatures very, very, at least high temperatures anyway. Not so much nighttime temperatures, but the daytime high temperatures will keep those temps confined to literally the 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. A little bit warmer Thursday and Friday, but we'll get a break from the heat thanks to all the cloud cover and rain. All right. So that's what we got, and I'll be happy to take any questions at this time.